Vampires from director John Carpenter features James Woods as Jack Crow, the leader of one of several Vatican-founded and supported teams of slayers tasked with exterminating a large nest of vampires currently located in New Mexico. But as the team celebrates their heroic victory that night, everyone but Jack and Daniel Baldwin's Montoya are butchered by the nest's master, a vampire by the name of John Valak, played here by Thomas Ian Griffith. But it's soon revealed that Valak is a much more ancient breed of evil than anyone could have anticipated. Hi, I'm Cinematico Magnifico of AmoralCrackpot.com, and welcome to the Nightly Chill. Now, it might be safe to say that in the last decade or so, vampires have completely lost whatever remaining bite they maintained as horror icons for decades. But the blame doesn't entirely fall on products like the Twilight series of books and films, which were little more than the final stake through the heart. Instead, it was years of abuse at the hands of Hollywood in the wake of the massive popularity of 1994's Interview with a Vampire. It was this book and feature film that really steered vampires away from fear-inducing antagonists to more romanticized, sexually charged leading men. Now, this isn't to say that the piss hasn't been taken out of the concept before 1994. Even the 1980s were filled with more campy, horror comedy-infused takes on vampires, such as Once Bitten, Fright Night, and even The Lost Boys. That said, a movie like The Lost Boys, at times, certainly earns top marks as a serious horror flick. The film's opening scene introduces these characters of the night as a serious threat, in spite of their very 80s attire, what with the way they stalk, tease, and eventually kill some poor security guard. But it also quickly devolves into camp when it isn't focused on presenting well-worn, classic horror scenes, such as when our young heroes make their way into a vampire den. This tense, fairly grounded scene is offset and almost ruined by its Scooby-Doo-like Run for the Hills conclusion that sees the cast fumbling their way out of the den the very second they're startled. Even a movie like Marvel and New Line Cinema's Blade from 1998, with its updated but still classic approach to vampires, still suffers from being yet another Wesley Snipes action vehicle. Because as great as Snipes is as a titular Blade, the film is more concerned with style, flash, and one-liners than any semblance of horror. This results in a final product that feels, and has aged, more like Demolition Man and Money Train than, say, New Jack City. Again, a movie very much of its time and place. John Carpenter's Vampires, on the other hand, manages to better balance both style and substance with a low-budget, no-nonsense return to basics. Carpenter's film is not shy about dismissing everything seen in movies before. The vampires in this film are mindless bloodsuckers that follow the commands of their far more competent but still somewhat animal-like masters. Sunlight and stakes through the heart can kill them, but garlic and crosses have no effect. They don't turn into bats or other creatures, and the only reason Valak looks and acts like such an old-fashioned creature of the night is because he is an old-fashioned creature of the night from 600 years ago. But what really makes the film work is how Wood's Jack Crow is very much a normal man with a rather matter-of-fact approach to his profession and world. To Crow, vampires are like any other dangerous wild animal or pest that must be controlled and eliminated. And in spite of having been raised in and employed by the church, Crow isn't a priest of any sorts, a chosen one, or even much of a good man. He's a flawed, angry individual driven by a personal vendetta. He drinks, does drugs, and parties with local prostitutes. This is an everyman working a job that isn't quite so everyday to us, though it is to him. In addition, the action scenes are low-budget, grounded, and brutal affairs that might see men getting knocked around on wires, but mostly involve violent stabbings. There isn't any grace or flash to these fights. They are hard-hitting, unsubtle, and bare bones. No special effects when the vampires die, other than when they burst into flames when they come into contact with sunlight. No puff of smoke or turning into ash here, just a charred and smoldering corpse. That said, the film isn't without its share of flaws. It moves along at such a quick pace that little time is dedicated to any of its characters, including Crow, making the film feel just as emotionally detached as Crow is from the twisted world around him. No flashbacks, no quiet moments of self-reflection, just a really pissed off James Woods hunting and stabbing vampires for 100 minutes. And while this certainly allows us to share in Crow's view of the world, it doesn't do anything to make us care for him or any other character once something actually happens. It also results in these frequent fits of exposition being thrown at the camera whenever background information is required to explain the current state of the plot. But while the film is rarely, if ever, outright scary, it does take the material serious. This is more a vampire story told in the style of a modern-day grounded western. Special effects are kept to a bare minimum, the lead is a realistic individual with no special qualities, superhuman endurance, or purpose, and the evil creatures are more ferocious beasts than charismatic mustache-twirling villains. And aside from some occasional levity from Woods, there's little that can be misconstrued as camp. For those looking for a more back-to-basics approach to vampires in a time flooded with more special effects-heavy blockbusters and young adult-skewed productions, then John Carpenter's Vampires is a movie definitely worth sinking your teeth into. That's gonna do it for us tonight on the Nightly Chill. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow, and also be sure to leave me any questions, comments, suggestions for future reviews, and maybe even discuss today's movie at greater length. And as always, this video is brought to you in part by our viewers. If you'd like to learn how to support this and other projects, please visit amoralcrackpot.com or check the description below. But until next time, y'all need to make like a tree and get out of here.